believe 100%. And I can tell you, good sources told me that.
Shedeur Sanders, I told you that 144th seal fell upon him in the draft. And the only thing that could have made last night better, let's wait to hear what everybody starts saying Monday. Now, very few people will stand up and speak up and say, you know, I was absolutely wrong.
Michael Irvin didn't just react to Shedeur Sanders' debut. He ignited a firestorm. The Hall of Famer, never shy about speaking his truth, called it absolutely perfect, the kind of statement that carries weight because Irvin's seen greatness up close. To him, this wasn't a fluke, and it wasn't just a hot start. It was validation of everything he's believed about Shaduer from day one. Irvin's praise went beyond stats. He zeroed in on poise, on nerve, on that rare ability to rise when the pressure's suffocating. In his words, Sanders didn't just play well, he owned the moment. But Irvin wasn't done. He turned his attention to the rest of the league, issuing a challenge. Match this level, or get left behind. It was a warning wrapped in admiration, the kind of statement that shifts locker rooms and headlines alike. For Shaduer, this debut wasn't simply a personal victory. It was a shot across the bow, a signal that the future of the NFL isn't on the way. It's already here, wearing number 14 and making Sundays a whole lot more interesting.
I'm so happy with his performance because I saw what I needed to see. And I think a lot of people saw what they needed to see. And a lot of people need to fess up and be real about what they saw.
Michael Irvin didn't just applaud Shedeur Sanders' debut. He doubled down, going from praise to proclamation. He said he's finally seen what he's been waiting for from a young quarterback. The full picture, the talent, the composure, the execution when it matters most. And then came the challenge. Irvin turned his gaze to the critics, the ones who've been quick to dismiss Shaduer before he's even had a chance to prove himself. He told them to look again. Really look, because what Sanders just did on that field wasn't luck, wasn't hype. It was surgical. It was undeniable. Irvin reminded everyone that this isn't some new phenomenon. What Sanders did in Colorado, the clutch throws, the command under chaos. He's doing it again in Cleveland. Different jersey, same results, same fire. He's not just surviving the moment. He's owning it, handling the glare of the lights, the speed of the game, and the weight of expectation like a veteran. Irvin made it clear, this isn't just raw skill. This is a mindset, an unshakable poise forged in work ethic and confidence. Shedeur Sanders isn't just playing football. He's bending the game to his will. And if the rest of the NFL hasn't noticed yet, Irvin's message was simple. They'd better start paying attention now.
They saw what they had seen in college at Colorado and what they had seen in Jackson. You saw exactly the same thing. A man that understands how to play in pressure situations.
Michael Irvin didn't just analyze Shedeur Sanders' debut. He put the entire Browns organization on notice. In his eyes, that single performance didn't just turn heads, it flipped the room. Irvin said it plainly. The Browns have to be sitting in their offices right now, looking at each other, wondering if they've been overlooking the very spark their offense needs. One game. That's all it took for Sanders to shift the temperature in Cleveland. From the sidelines to the front office, there's a different energy now. A sense that maybe, just maybe, this isn't about a rookie learning the ropes, but about a quarterback ready to lead right now. Irvin didn't chalk it up to luck or circumstance. No, he called it divine intervention. God set Shaduer up for this, he declared, framing the debut not as an accident, but as destiny unfolding in real time. And now, the anticipation is electric. Every eye, especially Irvin's, is fixed on what happens next. Will the Browns give him more snaps? More responsibility? More control? The question isn't if Shaduer has earned it. The question is how long Cleveland can wait before handing him the keys.
He's throwing, it's almost like Cleveland said, damn, we got to play you. We don't have anybody else. I told you God set that up because the seal of 144. And then he went in there and played like that.
Michael Irvin wasn't finished, not by a long shot. He leaned in, his voice carrying that trademark mix of conviction and challenge, and made a prediction that cut straight to the heart of the Shedeur Sanders conversation. Soon, Irvin said, "You're going to see people step forward, and they're finally going to admit what they've been afraid to say." The message was unmistakable. The same voices that doubted, dismissed, and downplayed Shadeur's ability will eventually have to face the truth. Sanders wasn't just good. He was right, and they were wrong. Irvin didn't expect a tidal wave of apologies. He knew it would start small, a few brave voices willing to swallow their pride, willing to admit they misread the kid. But that's how shifts begin in the NFL. A quiet concession here, an acknowledgement there, until the narrative changes completely. With the confidence of a man who's been around generational talent before, Irvin gave the simplest of instructions: let's wait and watch. And when Michael Irvin says that, it isn't idle talk. It's the assured tone of someone who's seen the writing on the wall and knows the rest of the league will be reading it soon enough.
Let's wait to hear what everybody starts saying Monday. Now, very few people will stand up and speak up and say, I was absolutely wrong.
And just like that, Michael Irvin's prediction started to come true. Because if there's one name you wouldn't expect to be standing in Shedeur Sanders' corner, it's Skip Bayless, a man who's built his career on being one of the most unapologetic, unrelenting critics in sports. And yet, even he couldn't dodge the truth anymore. Bayless didn't just tip his cap, he went all in. He admitted, on air, that Shaduer had proved everyone wrong. Not just the casual doubters in the stands or on social media, but the analysts, the executives, the entire chorus of voices that said this rookie wasn't ready. And then Skip did something that made headlines of its own. He turned his fire on the haters. He accused some of being motivated by race, others by their distaste for the Sanders name. He called out those who try to tear Shaduer down, not because of what he's done on the field, but because of who his father is. According to Skip, that wasn't just petty, it was calculated. Then came the bombshell. Bayless didn't just defend Shaduer. He went after every single NFL team that passed on him in the draft. In his words, Sanders had shamed them all. Every scout, every GM, every front office that looked the other way now had egg on their face. And he didn't spare Cleveland either. He accused the Browns of seeing Shaduer not as a franchise quarterback, but as a marketing tool, a way to sell jerseys, not win games. Bayless framed it all as a deliberate attempt to diminish both Shaduer and his father before they could even take the field. But now, that narrative has been shattered, because one preseason game was all it took for Shedeur Sanders to not just change minds, but to expose them. And suddenly, even his harshest critic had to admit it.
Made all those teams that had 143 chances to draft him before he went 144th. He shamed all of them, including the Cleveland Browns, who finally took him in the 5th round. I'm convinced only because the owner, the publicity-starved owner, just wanted some more shock value publicity. Oh, we took him because he knew what would happen, that the national media would descend on Browns camp.
Even Kevin Stefanski, a coach known for his measured words and guarded demeanor, couldn't disguise the truth that night. Every time Shedeur Sanders made a play, every time he threaded the ball through traffic, escaped pressure, or turned a collapsing pocket into a first down, Stefanski's expression told the story. A subtle grin, the kind that says, "I know what I'm looking at and I like it." After the game, when Stefanski stepped up to the podium, he didn't dance around the subject. He praised Sanders' composure, his presence in the huddle, and most of all, his leadership. In Stefanski's own words, Shaduer was the heartbeat of the team that night, not just a rookie getting reps, but the emotional center of the entire offense. Yes, he credited the whole squad for the win, but it was clear to anyone listening, Shaduer wasn't just playing quarterback. He was commanding the field, dictating tempo, and rallying his teammates like a veteran who'd been in the league for years. That kind of poise doesn't come from playbook. It comes from something deeper, the kind of presence that can change a locker room, and maybe the future of a franchise.
Yeah, pleased with Shaduer, pleased with the offense. Again, not perfect, plenty that we can work on, but I thought the guys did a really nice job of Shaduer and operating, the guys making plays. So, again, a ton to teach off of.
When it came time to strip away the hype and dissect the how behind Shedeur Sanders' brilliance, Emanuel Acho, a man who had once raised a share of doubts, found himself speaking with a tone of reluctant admiration that had shifted into full respect. The tides were moving, just as Michael Irvin had warned. Skeptics were being forced to confront what was right in front of them. And for Acho, the revelation was clear. It wasn't just about highlight throws or flashy plays. It was about the calm, that unshakable, unflinching calm under pressure. Acho described it perfectly. Most young quarterbacks, when a wall of defenders comes crashing down, panic. They force the ball into traffic, take sacks they shouldn't, or crumble under the moment. Shaduer does none of that. Instead, he moves like he's playing chess in slow motion. He slides away from pressure without losing balance. He drifts through the pocket with surgical precision, never letting his eyes drop to the rush. Always scanning, always hunting for that next read, that next opening. And when it comes, he doesn't hesitate. It's a strike. On time. On target. Acho summed it up with what might be the most important compliment a quarterback can earn. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a kid with a cannon for an arm. He's a complete quarterback. The kind who doesn't just play in the NFL, he can define it.
They're going to come with the 5-man pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man pressure. They're going to play man across the board. Hey, if defense is playing man-to-man, they're turning their back. Shedeur Sanders, he identifies the defense is in man-to-man coverage, so nobody is watching him. He also identifies the defense does not have contain. He escapes out the pocket. On 3rd and 9, he picks up the first down. He slides down to safety. Check for Shedeur Sanders. Let's keep it rolling.
Michael Irvin has been pounding the table from the very start. To him, Shedeur Sanders isn't just a promising young quarterback. He's the future of the NFL. And with every game that passes, those words feel less like hype and more like prophecy. From the opening snap of his career, Sanders has carried himself with a poise, a command, and a leadership presence that even seasoned veterans struggle to master. He controls the huddle. He reads defenses like he's been facing them for a decade. He's not rattled by the moment. He owns it. And Irvin isn't alone anymore. Skip Bayless, once one of Shadeur's most relentless critics, has now crossed the line into full-fledged supporter. Bayless has called out every NFL team that passed on Sanders, accusing them of missing out on a generational talent hiding in plain sight. Even the most hardened skeptics, the analysts, the front office insiders, the fans who swore the kid was overhyped, are starting to swallow their pride. Because week after week, Shaduer is proving this was never smoke and mirrors. What separates him isn't just arm strength. It isn't just mobility. It's that rare, unshakable calm under pressure. As Emmanuel Acho put it, Sanders navigates a collapsing pocket like a surgeon, slipping away from danger, keeping his eyes locked downfield, and delivering strikes when most quarterbacks would be eating turf. He's not just reacting to the game. He's manipulating it. Shedeur Sanders plays quarterback like he's playing chess, while everyone else is stuck on checkers. He's a true dual threat. Burn you through the air or break you on the ground. That versatility doesn't just give defenses headaches. It gives them nightmares. And here's the most dangerous part. This is only the beginning. Sanders is still learning, still sharpening his tools, still climbing toward his ceiling. If this is what he looks like now, imagine him in 2 years. Michael Irvin's early praise? Looking more prophetic by the day. So now the questions fall to you. Do you believe Irvin's bold predictions are spot on? Or is he getting ahead of himself? Has Shaduer already proven he's the future? Or are we watching a flash in the pan? And those critics who swore he'd never make it, will they finally admit they were wrong? Where do you see this story going from here? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Because one thing is certain, Shedeur Sanders is here to stay, and the NFL will never be the same.